Good morning, everyone. This is Renee Rentmeester. I'm the creator and executive producer of the Cooking Without Looking TV show and podcast. And today we have a special treat for you. We have Matt Walker. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing well, Renee. Thank you for having me.
Great, of course. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your blindness.
So I have a form of RP. Um, I was never formally diagnosed with RP or really anything else. I was 30 years old and it just kind of came out of nowhere. I was golfing with some friends one day, and when I looked down at the ball, I couldn't see the hole, which was about 12 feet away. When I looked at the hole, I couldn't see the ball. So I went into the doctor and he did some rudimentary peripheral visual field tests and found that I was missing a significant portion of my peripheral. So he sent me in for a brain MRI, which came back negative, thank goodness. Um, but it was very frustrating because it took about a year and a half to get any kind of answer whatsoever. I finally saw Dr. Marmer at Stanford, who let me know that I had something in the realm of retinitis pigmentosa, but he couldn't tell me exactly what it was. What was important for me at the time, though, is I had a 1 year old at home and another one on the way. And after also visiting the Oregon Health Science University and meeting with some geneticists, it was determined it was very unlikely that it is a hereditary form of RP.
Right, right. How long ago was this, Matt?
Almost 20 years now. And so,
Wow.
yeah, so I was a four handicap golfer, relatively good vision, no issues. And a year and a half later was completely blind. I have no light perception or anything.
Did that happen quickly or just over time?
A year and a half from driving sports cars and playing golf to completely blind.
Wow. What happened after that? Like, did you did you have a job that you left? What kinds of things happened after that?
So I've been in the real estate industry pretty much my entire working career. I had the experience to get my broker's license, California real estate broker's license. So with the help of my wife, I studied for and passed the broker's exam. It took a few years, but I started Walker and Associates Property Management in 2010, which I still own today, and it's thrived. It's done really well. We're one of the biggest companies around our area.
That's great. That's great. Do you I saw online you said something about someone had said well you're what was it? You're a really good looking for a blind person.
Yeah, so it's turned into kind of a joke, but I do get told that often. What I get told is you're really good looking for a and I always say, well, what are blind people supposed to look like? That always makes me laugh. Uh,
Right.
I'm really being more humorous about it than
Of
anything, just
course.
because it's really funny to be told, "Wow, you're really good looking for a blind guy." I'm like, wait, is what does that mean?
It's right up there. Well, you look good for your age. Well,
Right,
what does that
right. I'm not. I mean,
mean?
is that a compliment? I'm not sure.
Well, that's a stereotype that people have. We had a woman who was our host for like 25 years on our show, and she was pretty, and people would say, "Well, is she really blind?" Yeah.
I, you
But
know, yeah. It's a funny thing, and I have these big blue eyes, and people will say, "Well, your eyes look fine." Like I was expecting that because I don't even know what that means. I don't. I mean, I'm sure there's some forms of eye diseases that may affect the appearance of the eyes, but mine. I mean, maybe they wander a little bit. I would assume, but
well,
like they
you're a
don't look
man.
any different. So
No, but that's funny. That just, people have various stereotypes of what a blind person is, who they are, and that's pretty much the reason for our show and our podcast, just to like break stereotypes and bring people such as yourself on. I'm certain that they didn't even realize that you could run a business because you were blind.
yeah, I live a very mainstream kind of life still. So, I just flew to Cabo San Lucas by myself to go fishing with my cousins from Sacramento. It's not unusual to see me out at a restaurant having dinner, whether I'm with somebody or I might just roll in by myself. I just kind of never stopped living the same way I was before. I just had to get a cane and figure out um, some different ways to go about things. But my life really didn't change all that much from sighted to blindness.
Well, did you go through some training, Matt?
Very little. I kind of trained myself how to use a cane. I figured out the iPhone myself. I figured out how to get an Uber, how to order Instacart or DoorDash. Like I've never been a part of any group or anything. I've never really gone to any classes. I don't know. I probably should have. I just haven't.
Oh, no, no. We're all individuals and it just depends on what you need and if you're comfortable. I remember one woman telling me that, well, you know, blindness isn't as bad as when you learn the skills of blindness, and it sounds like that's what you have.
Yeah, yeah. I just kind of figured a lot of it out on my own. It probably helps. I'm a little crazy.
You
I'm
have a
not.
sense of humor, right?
Well, I spent my life 7 to 27 on a dirt bike, and I've had some big crashes where I broke bones. I wasn't supposed to walk for 6 months. I was racing again 4 months later. So I don't, whatever that is that's supposed to tell you to be afraid of something, I just kind of don't have it.
Right, right. Now, how do your employees, how do they react, or do they?
I mean, most of the people that do business with me now are used to it. Um, which I don't even know what that means because it's all the same. We
Of
text all
course.
day and email, and so there really isn't much of an adjustment to it. Um, the biggest thing is obviously they need to explain to me. Sometimes maybe someone will send a document and it's not accessible, or I also do a lot of construction project management, so sometimes I'll need to have a drawing described to me what they're talking about, that kind of thing.
Sure, sure. Well, what does property management entail for you?
So really my job is dealing directly with our clients. So at this point, after 16 years, the operations kind of on cruise control with my employees. My job is dealing with going over the books each month with our accountant, but mostly what I do is I deal directly with the clients and with prospective clients. So I do all the sales, all the communications. So mostly my job is just talking on the phone and making sure people are getting what they need.
Right, right. How has that worked out for you?
That's been great. I mean, that's kind of what I've done I've been in some form of sales in one way or another since I was in my early 20s. And I've always kind of worked for myself too. Even when I had a job, technically speaking, I ran a title and escrow company. I was the senior account executive. I still was pretty autonomous and on my own. So kind of running my own show is something I've always done.
Well, so when you went blind or before you went blind, did you like to cook?
Yes, I love to cook. I've been cooking since I can remember. Even when I was a kid, I would help my dad barbecue because where we live, if you've ever heard of Santa Maria style barbecue, we barbecue tri-tip over an oak pit, like an open fire. And
Ah, no, I've never heard of that. Tell us
yeah,
more
so
about
we
it.
yeah, so we use red oak, and there's these big fire pits, and you light the oak on fire, and then we do these big pieces of tri-tip or top block. And I can remember as a kid being in the backyard helping my dad barbecue. And then my mom was great with cooking, and I was around when she'd cook a lot. She was amazing because she would make Walker surprise. So I'd go into the kitchen, or my sister would go into the kitchen and say, "There's nothing to eat." My mom would go in there and grab a can of this, a can of that, and some pasta. And before you knew it, there was, tuna mac coming out of the oven.
I love that Walker surprise. Did she make that up?
Yeah. Yeah. We'd say, "What's for dinner?" "Walker surprise." Okay.
What was the best Walker surprise you remember?
Probably the one I just said, the tuna macaroni casserole. It was hard to beat.
Oh
It was,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, it was one of those things that's even better the next day.
Right, exactly, exactly. Well, I know that when you say you barbecue, I'm certain there must be people in the audience go, "What? He's blind. So how did you switch over from being sighted in barbecue to being blind in barbecuing?
It wasn't that big of a transition because with tri-tip and barbecuing over oak, it's all about the heat and time and then the firmness of the meat. So when you're when you have the tri-tip over the fire, I kind of posted a video about this. You put your hand over the tri-tip. If you can hold it for 10 seconds, you might need to lower it a little bit. If you can't, you might need to raise it a little bit. You're getting too much fire on the meat. And then usually it's around 45 minutes to an hour to cook a 3 pound tri tip. And you just use the tongs and feel the firmness. If it's still got a little bit of squish to it, then it's going to be medium to medium rare. If it's really firming up, especially on the bigger side of it, then you're getting more towards a medium well. So, what's kind of nice about cooking a piece of meat that big is you're going to have people with all different preferences. So, the edges are going to be more medium well ish, where the center is going to be kind of a medium rare.
Ah, what's your favorite?
I like medium rare. It kind of depends on the cut. As I'm getting older, I'm finding myself liking my meat a little more done than I used to. I used to just say basically warm it up and give it to me. But and I kind of can still be that way. I do these prime New Yorks from Costco and they're like 2 inches thick. And
Ooh.
yeah, I do those only about 7 minutes aside, which is medium rare. But these are like two slices with the knife and you're through it. Is they're that tender and then they just kind of melt in your mouth. So a tri-tip I'm getting where I prefer a little more medium-ish, but like a high quality steak like that, I definitely want it more medium rare. So with those New Yorks, I'm making what's called steak arpoise, if you've ever heard of it.
No, tell us about it.
Uh oh boy, now I got to think about it. Um, so it's with peppercorns, and then you make a what is the it's a brandy reduction. So it's like a peppercorn brandy reduction that you put over and butter and you put it over the top of the steak. It's really popular in like New Orleans. Um,
It
so
sounds delicious.
yeah, it's just try and figure out how to spell that. That's the problem.
Well, I think we'll do a little Google search after this.
Sounds good.
But well, you're out in California, right? So talking about we were just making jokes about this, talking about barbecuing salmon first thing in the morning must seem a little weird to you. Although you know
Yeah,
what? I used to live in Miami and I barbecued in the morning because it just seemed like something fun to do and something that would make everyone go, "What?"
yeah, no, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I was just thinking about it. I'm like, salmon for breakfast. Okay.
That doesn't sound bad,
Heck,
actually. Not half bad.
it doesn't. Maybe a poached egg and a English muffin or something. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Well, tell us, you were yesterday the Cooking Without Looking TV show recipe of the day. Tell us about your grilled salmon and your salad.
So the salmon is fairly simple. I It's nice where I live because it's salmon season right now. So I actually went up to Giovanni's Fish Market yesterday in Morro Bay and picked up some fresh line caught salmon. Had just been pulled out of the water earlier that morning. But you can get it from Albertsons. You can get portions. What you want to make sure though is it does have the skin on. You just there's so much more flavor. It's comes out better even when cooking. So it's a fairly simple recipe with the salmon. So the salmon I put a drizzle of champagne vinegar on, about the same amount of high quality olive oil, and then I use Santa Maria style seasoning, which Santa Maria style seasoning is garlic based, but it usually has pepper, parsley. This one I'm using it's called Gomer's. It's available online. It's made by a friend of mine, and he adds a few other things too, like celery salt, onion salt. And you put a generous amount on the salmon. I always let it sit for about 10 or 15 minutes. The biggest thing that I missed is with any fish, but especially salmon, you want to rinse it really well. Get all the oil that it's been sitting in off of it. And so you'll just eliminate so much of the fishiness. I mean, most of the time, if fish smells fishy, it you know you it's probably not good. But sometimes with salmon, it can just be the oils that it's sitting in, and you just got to rinse it off, pat it dry with a paper towel before you put on the champagne vinegar and the olive oil and the seasoning. And then it's really simple. It's just depending on the size. So these are 6 ounce portions. So they're anywhere from 5 to 7 minutes aside. I just always open up the fish cage. If you don't have a fish cage, you definitely want to get one or basket. Some people call it fish basket.
So they
I'll
don't
open
get
it up.
away, right?
What's that?
So they don't get away.
Right, right. It just makes it where
Uncomfortable.
when the fish starts getting flaky, it can be pretty hard to flip with a spatula. So this makes it where you just take an oven mitt and flip it. Um, but everyone, when I think it's done, I'll open it up and take a fork and just check it to see if it flakes. And if it does, then it's done. So
Okay.
that's the salmon part of what uh, I've been cooking. And the reason I came up with this recipe is it's middle of May. It's starting to get towards summer. And it's just kind of a nice summer dish. I do the salmon and then I do a salad on the side. And it's a summer salad. So it's spring mix. And then I top the spring mix with blueberries, strawberries, apple, a little avocado, and some walnuts and goat cheese. But the star of the show is the strawberry apricot champagne vinaigrette I make. So you take about a quarter cup of apricot preserves, a couple of large Santa Maria strawberries. I have strawberry fields all around me, so I can just go down to the stand and get them, and they're the big, juicy ones. I mash that up. I add in about an eighth of a cup of champagne vinegar, eighth of a cup of olive oil, and just get it really well mixed. And then the key is a little bit of honey. The honey just kind of mellows it out, smooths it out, takes away a little bit of the tart. And then what I do is I use about a large tablespoon of goat cheese for the salad, but I take half of it and I actually mix it in with the dressing. It makes the dressing very creamy, and then you get the dressing and that goat cheese flavor on on all of the salad.
It sounds delicious. Now, do you put that in a blender or a food processor?
No, I just do it with a fork. Um, and it's a little bit, it's tedious. You want to make sure that you really get it all mixed together. And what can be kind of easy, so I just do it in a bowl and just mash it all up, is at the end, I'll actually add the walnuts and the blueberries in with the dressing. And that way, when you pour everything over the salad, because what you do is you put all of your toppings on, and then you pour the dressing over the top of that, and you just want to make sure it gets well tossed. So that way, every bite you're getting a goodie. It's always the best when you get to the bottom and it's all there, and now you're getting a little bit of goat cheese, a little apple, which goes well together anyway. Um, but it's a really satisfying salad, and it really complements the salmon.
Oh, that sounds good. And all of that together, it doesn't really take that long, does it, to make?
No, I mean we're talking about the entire thing, even with all the chopping. So you got to chop up your apple, and you slice the strawberries. So you use a couple of strawberries for the dressing, but then you want to slice up a couple more just to put on the salad. But yeah, I would say you can make the whole meal in less than a half hour without a problem.
Wow, you can't even order Uber Eats in that amount of time.
No, I've really gotten away from it. I've gotten where I'm cooking so much at home and using high quality ingredients that when I order out, I'm always, it's like, man, I just paid $40 for this meal, and
Oh my God, exactly. I agree with you totally.
yeah, and it's like, wow, I could have made this way better myself.
Right, and it doesn't come in very good either. You paid $40 and it's not the best it could be when you get it. So you might as well do it yourself and have it exactly the way you like it.
Right. I think one of the tricks with ordering Uber is well, I just don't order certain things with DoorDash or Uber, because by the time they get to you, they're just not. They may be fabulous in the restaurant, but after a 15-20 minute car ride, they're a
No.
little um a burrito.
Soggy.
Yeah, a burrito holds up pretty well. So my point to it was, though, I try and only DoorDash from restaurants that are within just a couple of miles, because I have quite a few restaurants around me. And if you do that, um, then it can be better. But like ordering a burger, for instance, if you order a burger from somewhere and it's going to be in that car for 15 minutes, I mean, by the time it gets to you,
No.
it's just disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah, those buns have to be soggy as heck.
Right.
Oh my gosh. Well, does your wife cook?
She does. She cooks a lot. We cook together
Oh,
quite a
that's
bit, but
nice.
mostly she has her dishes that she cooks. I probably do most of the cooking, because I work from home a lot while she's at the office. So,
Right, right.
but the deal is, if I cook, she cleans, and vice versa. Whoever cooks, the other one cleans. So, but I'm pretty good about cleaning as I go. Where she doesn't do that. So at the end, the kitchen looks like a bomb went off in it, where I try and kind of clean as I go.
Oh my gosh. Well, do you make any Walker surprises for your kids?
I don't really I most of my stuff is pretty thought out. It's unusual. I do cook for my kids a lot, but again, I'm trying to think of the last thing I cooked where I just kind of threw stuff together. Um Probably these turkey wraps that I make them. They're 18 and 20 now, so a lot of times they're doing their own deal, but not too long ago they were hungry and I had some turkey from Costco, and I think I had some lettuce and tomatoes and avocado, and I made up a little spicy dressing with ranch and Cholula, and made them these turkey wraps, and they were pretty happy with those. That's about the last thing I can remember. But as far as cooking, if they have their choice and they can order it, I do this shrimp and scallops in a white wine butter sauce over linguine, and then I
Oh my
roast
gosh.
Anaheim chilies
That
and
sounds
put that.
so good.
It is a crowd pleaser. I've never made that and not had people say this is restaurant quality. So,
Is great. Well, when you talk to people about blindness and your blindness, what do you tend to tell them?
um, as far as like just what it's like to be blind.
Yeah, or like, like like the person who said, "Well, you look good for being blind." You must get a lot of opportunities to educate people, especially since you own your own business.
Yeah, I mean, they will ask a lot of questions about how I get around, or um, it, especially when I'm traveling. So if I'm in like I'll stop at the airport bar to have a cocktail and a bite to eat, and they're one of the common questions is, well, who's guiding you, and who's with you. And when I say nobody, I'm traveling alone. That's when people get really curious about how does a blind guy travel alone. Um, and it is just figuring it out, making adjustments, making preparations. I go to Cabo a lot, and I know the airport in Phoenix really well, so I can pretty much navigate Phoenix on my own. But I'll be totally honest with you, I kind of operate in a different way than I think a lot of people do. Again, I haven't really done any formal mobility trainings. I just have kind of figured it out as I went. Um,
Hmm.
and so there isn't a lot for me to explain, to be honest, about what it's like for me being blind, because I just kind of continued living my life as anyone else would have.
Right, right. And then that's great. That's really great. People have all these concepts or these they don't know, and sometimes they don't know whether to ask or not. So have you ever been offended by anyone's questions, I guess?
Not really offended by questions. I have had people even close to me, and I think it's just through their awkwardness. They'll say something they think is funny, like, "Hey, I was waving for you. You didn't see me."
Ugh.
Um, and then I will make a gesture and say, "Can you see this?" Anyway,
Yes, and I think we all know which gesture you're referring to.
yeah. So I have had those kinds of moments more the more the just the people again. I think it's their own awkwardness and not knowing how to deal with the situation. And so they make a silly
Like
a
a
silly,
feeble
you know.
attempt at humor.
Right. It's an attempt at humor, and it actually started bothering me more as the time went on. So I got a little more assertive about just responding to it. I always say it's like the death of a thousand cuts. It's one doesn't do it, but after years of these remarks, you start getting tired of it.
Right, exactly. Now, what would you tell people who, like, maybe they just went blind and they're professionals? What kind of advice would you give them, Matt?
To just try and keep your routine like it always was. To get up, make yourself a cup of coffee, have breakfast, go walk on the treadmill. I think the things that I've seen, whether it's blindness or a friend of mine with MS, and obviously that can be different because there's physical limitations.
Mm.
But I think for anyone, whatever situation you're going to, if you can keep a routine as much as possible, I just know for myself, some days, some days you wake up blind and you don't feel like being blind that day. And for me, that's when I have to say, all right, Matt, get up and get moving, fold some clothes, whatever, like just get something done, because I know that the worst I'm going to feel is if I stay laying there for very long. So that'd be my biggest advice is there are going to be times you don't feel like doing it, but do it anyway. Um, because once you get going, you'll feel a lot better.
Right, you could probably say that for all of us, right?
Well, and that's why I was saying it doesn't even have to be blindness. I could say this to a perfectly healthy sighted person who's maybe having a bad time in life. We all face those moments. Is is get up and get going. The worst thing you can do for yourself is sit around. My dad was a manic depressive, and so I watched him battle a lot of things, and that was his deal. Is he'd sit in his recliner, and I would always tell him, Dad, why don't you get up and do something? So maybe some of that is where that comes from, is not just from blindness. It's also for all of us, I think, a routine and having things that we do. I do a lot of coaching for business, and what I tell a lot of my people is, um, write down three things, but make two of them really accomplishable, if that's a word.
It
So
is now, Matt.
it is not. So what I mean by that is, we have these reward triggers in our brain. And if you write down 25 things and not very many of them you're actually going to get to, you can give yourself kind of this feeling of being overwhelmed. But if you write down just three things, as you make one of them really simple, make one of them like clean my desk off kind of thing. And then when you get to put a line through that, you send a little reward to your brain and it makes you motivated to kind of keep going. So that's what I could encourage anyone to do, is have a few things you want to accomplish each day and make sure at least a couple of them you're going to get done.
Yeah, that's good. And that makes you feel good too, because you have that a wonderful feeling of actually finishing something up.
Right.
So Matt, tell us how people can reach out to you if they want to contact you.
The easiest would probably be by email. My email address is really simple. It's Matt Walker, two T's, at Comcast.net.
Okay. And anything else you want to leave us with?
Uh, just this is a tough thing, and I would never want it to seem like I'm ever discounting what it is to be blind. It is a daily grind of keeping your head up and getting through it. um I just know for me, the more I try and live the same life as I did before. The more because every once in a while I'll find myself being a little antisocial. I don't feel like going anywhere. I don't feel like being blind guy on display is what I call it sometimes. I just don't feel like it. But then if I continue, if I go down to my little coffee shop and I have my coffee and I talk to the old guys like I do, I feel a whole lot better. So the most, because I see this, and the reason I'm talking about this in these blind groups that I become a member of, if there's something I see that's a common theme and post is people without a lot of social life. And I think it's really important to keep some level of a social life up.
Right, right. And by the way, if you'd like, do you want to give information on your property management company?
Sure, it's called Walker and Associates Property Management. We've been in business since 2010. We also do real estate. And then what I really enjoy more than anything is I manage real estate developments. So I do that as well. And then I do personal and business coaching. Um, it's more just something I do because I really enjoy it. Um, I like helping people if I can get help someone get their career going. So if anyone, whether it's in real estate or any other business, if someone wants someone to talk to about how to keep a schedule and how to create your sales skills, that's pretty much what I've done my whole working life.
And you're in the Santa Barbara, California area, right?
Yeah, Santa Maria. So it's Santa Barbara
Sorry.
County. Yeah, I always say Santa Barbara County because Santa Maria is a pretty small area. Most people don't know where that is, but we're basically halfway between LA and San Francisco.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Matt, for joining us today. Thank you for helping us change the way we see blindness. And if anyone out there wants to uh, go to our website, it's www.cookingwithoutlookingtv.wordpress.com. You can find Matt's recipes there under the recipe. It's on the left-hand side, closer to the top, as well as going to our Cooking Without Looking YouTube channel. And you can get this podcast anywhere you get your favorite podcast. Again, thank you so much, Matt.
Thank you, Renee. I really enjoyed this.
Okay, great. So did I. You take care.
Okay, you too.